I left San Francisco in early December, aiming to make the most of my last few weeks in the USA. I wanted to visit the canyons and national parks of Utah and Arizona on my way to the border with Mexico. It was an ambitious plan. I had just over 3 weeks to cover more than 2,500 kilometers in winter. To leave California, I first had to cross the snowy Sierra Nevada mountains at Carson Pass. Then I traversed the sparse, high plains of Nevada. I entered Utah near St. George and hiked in Zion and Bryce canyons before cutting south through Grand Staircase Escalante through Cottonwood Canyon into Arizona. I had just enough time for a day at the Grand Canyon before exiting USA into Mexico near Yuma, with a full 3 hours remaining on my visa waiver.
I'm in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, heading up to Carson Pass today. What a beautiful day. All this snow really makes it look fully alpine, and it is. I guess this is the ski resort I'm coming up to in a little while. Makes wild camping a little tricky. I did have to camp on snow last night, which is, it's not the worst thing, but it's pretty messy. Moisture just tend to get into the ground sheet of the tent, but whatever. So yeah, fingers crossed I can make it over Carson Pass today, but I don't fancy descending this in the dark. There are patches of ice, and once the temperature starts to drop when it goes dark, which it will before 5 o'clock now, it goes dark early. If that freezes, yeah, it wouldn't be smart to descend that in the dark, I think. Very dicey when it's icy. Road's nice and quiet today. Lots of ski traffic over the weekend. Yesterday was Sunday, so a lot of traffic on the road. Today, hardly anything. So I made it into Nevada. I got over the Sierra Nevada mountain range from California, and now I'm in the mountainous desert region of Nevada. Actually, I had to detour back north. I'm much further north than I expected to be, because the pass I intended to take into central Nevada was blocked by snow. I was on the back side of the Sierra Nevada. Passes behind me were closing because of snow. Passes in front of me were closing because of snow. So I headed back north onto a lower road that's going to take me down into Utah, hopefully with about the same distance and a bit less climbing. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's very, very remote, harsh country, pretty desolate, pretty bleak. I've actually taken to camping in towns for the last couple of nights, either in a municipal park or last night in a covered picnic shelter that was recommended to me by some very nice locals in the town of Yarrington. But got a couple of visits from the local police during the night, who were basically saying, you know, camping is not permitted here, but here you are and it's cold and we're not going to kick you out. So that was cool. I'm going to try and get onto the interstate, head south towards Las Vegas briefly, and then cut into the central desert of Nevada. It's cold up here. Pretty much since the day that I left San Francisco, I haven't had a day above freezing. So I'm out here in Nevada, crossing the high plains between Hawthorne and Tonopah. It's a whole lot of nothing out here, just to give you an idea, like how long and straight some of these roads are. It just goes on for mile after mile. Most of the traffic is being pretty well behaved, and I've got this rumble strip to separate me from the trucks. Most of them are moving out onto the other side of the road, so that's all to the good. Kind of reminds me of being back in China, actually. It's kind of scrub desert. just about setting. It is 12 minutes past 4 and I'm still 50 kilometers away from Tonopah, so it looks like I'm going to be riding in the dark again tonight. Nowhere for me to get water out here in the desert. I've got, what, maybe 3/4 of a litre left, so not enough to camp, so really I'm on the hook to get to this next town. Good morning from sunny Nevada. So yeah, last night I didn't have to cycle all the way to Tonopah. I was riding in the dark for an hour or so. And about 20 kilometers before the town I came upon this highway rest area. It's not marked on my map. And although they've switched off all the main water here because it's winter and it's freezing, there is still a running tap in the bathroom. Probably not potable, but a young couple from Georgia out on a road trip, Joshua and Madison, supplied me with several bottles of drinking water, so I'm all good. I was able to camp, not have to go into town and pay for a motel, because most of this land around here is military land. So yeah, I was lucky to find this spot and get my head down for the night. So yeah, just waiting for the tent to fully thaw is the word. More or less got a dry tent. It's kind of important actually, camping in winter. One of the things you have to take into account is I'm going to put that tent up tonight and it's going to be very cold again in the desert, and there's really nothing worse than getting into a cold wet tent, because it won't dry overnight, it will just freeze solid. So if at all possible, it's important for me to dry the tent out fully before I drop it in the morning, which kind of makes camping in winter a bit of a slow start. The sun's well up in the sky already. Must be nearly 9 o'clock now, but for me it's worth the trade-off to not have to get into an ice cube at the end of a hard day's ride. So about half an hour out of Tonopah, heading towards the extraterrestrial highway. No more interstate riding for a couple of weeks now on the quiet rural roads. This light is unreal. It's nearly sunset. Not sure if the camera will capture the colours in this light, but wow. Alright, another gorgeous morning in the Nevada desert. Managed to defrost the outside of the tent, but now my morning ritual inside the tent is I have to scrape off the ice, the frost I should say, that's formed on the inside of it. It's a good line. I've done most of it. I'm just doing this back wall now. Actually, once it started to warm up a bit, it's actually pretty easy to just swallow it all up like that rather than wait for it to fully melt. I had to do a layer even much thicker than that on the on the outside of the tent. First job of the day, very cold fingers. But yeah, it's good. I should have another dry tent in about half an hour by the time I finish packing everything else up. Yeah, that's all good. Managed to find another rest area just on the side of the highway last night. I was intending to go a little bit further than this, but chances of finding somewhere as good as this in this desert were pretty slim. And to be honest, it was 6 o'clock, so it had been dark for an hour, and the frost was already starting to form on the ground. So I decided that discretion was the better part of valor on this occasion. I boxed the tent here. I camped outside of the rest area because there's actually a bit more of a breeze here. Very important. Actually, the tent is nowhere near as icy this morning as it was yesterday. Yesterday was very still in the place that I camped. So all of the water vapor coming off me basically just formed solid on the tent. But here, yeah, there was a bit of a breeze blowing through. As much as I love this tent, its main failing is pretty poor ventilation. And it has these ventilation hoops, which are, I mean, they work, but there isn't that much of a through flow of air. So yeah, it's important important to find the best spot to pick up as much breeze as possible, get the air flowing through the tent to prevent it from getting really clogged up with condensation. But yeah, I'm going to drop it, make a push for the extraterrestrial highway, which is about 45, 50 kilometers in that direction, and another 90 kilometers down to this little settlement of Rachel. It's called Rachel. Hopefully I can pick up some more water there, and that should get me back onto the main road network. That's sometime tomorrow evening. Yeah, I've got about 5 litres left, so plenty for today. Be a bit tight if I can't get any water at Rachel, but I think I can. Just beautiful blue desert sky. It makes the cold nights worthwhile. I mean, it's chilly now, but pretty good riding conditions, I think. And all my gear's holding up, I was toasty, and my 2 sleeping bags and this great hat. It's just those transitional phases, getting into the tent, getting everything set up at first, and then getting out of the sleeping bag in the morning. Oh, that's really hard. I'm getting better at it, but it's still pretty hard. Once I'm up and about, then all is good. Time to finish off the camp duties and get moving. This is going to be a long descent. The thing about these deserts and these really straight roads so far in Nevada is that the distances are very deceptive. I mean, how far is that? Looks maybe 3 or 4 miles, maybe 5 miles. Yesterday, just out of Tonopah, had a similar basin to cross, and it was 20 miles at 32 kilometers from rim to rim, and this looks just the same. Yeah, that may take me an hour and a half to get to the rim there. I don't know, it's impossible to tell, but from yesterday's experience, that's what I'm guessing that is. That road just goes on to infinity. Asymptotic lines. They never touch. Just past the junction at Warm Springs, you can see the steam rising off the springs there, I think, as it comes down the mountain. That's awesome. But not potable water. Thermal springs usually have quite a lot of mineral deposits in, so I can't filter that. It's no use to me. I'm at the start of Highway 375 now, which is the extraterrestrial highway, so called, the ET highway. Mostly because of how many UFO sightings there are along here, and also because it runs past this military estate which contains Area 51, where, as legend has it, the remains from the Roswell incident were taken. So yeah, I can see there the sign says Rachel 59. That's the first settlement on this whole road, the only settlement on this road, where I'm hoping I'll get water tonight. 59 miles. It's going to be it's going to be a late finish, I think. But whatever, I can do it. I've probably got enough water to camp before if I absolutely have to. But just look at these absolutely awesome mountain ranges all around, with these vast plains in between. So this is what, my 4th day in Nevada now. It really is starting to win me over. I don't know. It's vying for the top spot, I think. With these blue skies and these mountain ranges, it's ticking all the boxes. Well, I arrived in Rachel last night after riding in the dark for about 2.5 hours. Man, that was a tough day. Finished on a big climb up to about 1,800 meters, then a long freezing descent in the dark, and I made it down to this tiny little settlement of Rachel about 7:30, pretty much done in, and looked in at the motel here, which said closed. My heart sank, but went inside anyway. Far too expensive for me to afford a room here. But the staff on duty, just closing up there, insisted, no, you're having a room. And they gave me this cabin to stay in last night, which was like Christmas came early for me. Absolutely fantastic. To be able to get warm, get clean, and cook my dinner. Full kitchen, bathroom, great queen size bed. And generally get all my kit organised. That was a long pull from San Francisco. 9 days on the road, 9 nights camping wild in freezing conditions. So yeah, this was an absolute treat. Really, really appreciated. So yeah, thanks to Shalene and Cody and Jeff, the customer, for subbing me for this room. Absolutely awesome. Had a great stay there. What a lovely little place in the middle of nowhere. Out here next to these missile bases. 10 o'clock last night, the whole place shook. Bang! Sonic boom as some low-flying aircraft broke the sound barrier. If I'd have been in my tent, I think I might have messed my sleeping bag. Anyway, thank you, little alien motel, Nevada. A few more big hills to get over now and see if I can get into Utah tomorrow. So as I get closer to Utah, I've entered part of the Mojave Desert, and just a few kilometers back a change in vegetation. Now we're seeing the scrub interspersed with these, I think they are Joshua trees, species of yucca plant. Two different species. The lower ones, the kind of shrubby ones, are one kind, and the other tall and more tree-likes are another variety, and they don't cross-pollinate. They rely on different species of moths apparently to pollinate them. But right here we're on the boundary, more or less, between the habitats of the two different types of Joshua tree. It's quite a unique location. It's really cool. Yeah, I've just had hundreds and hundreds of miles of just sagebrush desert. So it's nice to see some green in there now. Just stop to watch the bird up there soaring around on the thermals. I can't quite see from here what kind of bird it is. That's got a pretty big wingspan. Maybe it's pointing the way for me. I head up through a narrow pass in that mountain range there. Wow. Mojave Desert, Nevada. Absolutely awesome. Once again, just goes to show, I really had no preconceptions about Nevada. Knew more or less nothing about it, except I wanted to give Las Vegas a wide berth. And it's turned out to be one of my favourite parts of the USA so far. Yeah, I'm really glad. On its own merit, whether or not I can make it into the canyonlands of Utah, everybody keeps telling me I'm going to get stymied by snow and freezing cold temperatures or whatever. I don't think it really matters. It was worth coming this way to see this part of the country. Yeah, a good route. So I'm climbing the pass from Panaca over into Utah. In about an hour's time, maybe I should tip over the top of this, and that'll be my last look at Nevada. Yeah, I've had a fantastic week. A couple of foul weather days at the start, just coming into Nevada in the Sierra Nevada, but once I got clear of the big mountains, I've had more or less this kind of weather every day.